Is this where Lehi landed? In 1 Nephi chapter 18, verse 8, we read, "After we had all gone down into the ship, and had taken with us our provisions and things which had been commanded us, we did put forth into the sea. They did so from Salalah, along the southern coast of the Arabian Peninsula, heading into the Sea of Arabia, and down into the Indian Ocean, and finally eastward into the Southern Ocean and the west wind drift. Along the south in the realm of gray skies that eternally circulate around the bottom of the world, and raging winds, full of fast-moving storms of at least one gale per week in this vast, never-ending wave train that travels east in 13 to 16 feet wave heights, where wind-driven currents within the powerful Antarctic circumpolar current that transports 140 million cubic meters of water a second, which is 3 times more than all the rivers of the world combined. With this speed, Lehi sailed toward the western hemisphere, where the northern edge of the current at the Drake Passage is pushed northward into the Humboldt or Peruvian current along the west coast of South America. This cold water, nutrient-rich, upwelling Humboldt current is full of small fish and flows northward from the tip of South America all along the Chilean coast, providing food for not only for the South American penguin, but draws flocks of birds of all kinds to feast, including pelicans, albatross, boobies, and tens of thousands cormorants. Not only could Lehi easily catch fish in nets, but also kill birds with slings and clubs as they landed on board Nephi's ship. As Lehi sailed up the Chilean coast of South America, he found no place to land because of the cliffs and foreboding coastal landscape. The further up the coast they went, the wind speed and current flow began to slow down until it reached a calm at the southern tropic, about 30 degrees South Latitude. Here, the warm tropic air from the equator slams into the cold Arctic air from the south and turns each current upward, creating a change in air pressure, and the sea beneath grows calm as the winds and currents shoot upward, leaving the sea tranquil and unmoving. Lehi's ship had enough forward momentum to steer into the shoreward tidal inflow, and the climatological winds blowing from the southwest carried them toward the large natural harbor that runs along the coast beyond Tortuga Point, which the Spanish later called Coquimbo Bay, meaning peaceful water. And adjacent to Coquimbo is the area today called La Serena, a perfect area for settlement with hunting and fishing, plenty of trees, good soil for planting, and a river of fresh running water. Of this landing site, Nephi wrote in 1 Nephi chapter 18, verse 24, "They began to till the earth, and planted seeds which they had brought from the land of Jerusalem, that grew exceedingly, and that they were blessed in abundance." An important point most theorists miss is how seeds grown in Jerusalem would produce abundantly planted elsewhere in 600 BC. After all, before modern farming technology, seeds required the same climate, temperature, precipitation, soils, and soil groups to grow. Since Jerusalem has a Mediterranean climate, seeds grown there would have required another Mediterranean climate to have grown when transplanted in 600 BC. And it so happens that La Serena and Coquimbo Bay, Chile, have a Mediterranean climate. Only one of two in the entire Western Hemisphere. The other is in California. It would seem then that Lehi landed at either 30-degree South Latitude in Chile, where Coquimbo Bay, La Serena is located, or in central or southern California. Nowhere else would his seeds, brought from Jerusalem, have grown in 600 BC. Mediterranean climates are not only beautiful, where most anything will grow, but represent an important understanding of where Lehi landed. It is not a scriptural reference that most theorists want to deal with, but is a very important indicator where Lehi could have planted his seeds brought from Jerusalem. The other important part of Nephi's description of the land where they came ashore, as stated in 1 Nephi chapter 18, verse 25, while journeying in the wilderness, they found all sorts of beasts in the forests, animals of every kind, both the cow and the ox and the ass and the horse and the goat and the wild goat and all manner of wild animals, which for the use of men. All these animals lived in the forest adjacent to the landing site, a forest large enough where both domestic and wild animals could coexist. In addition, as they journeyed about, they found all manner of ore, both of gold and of silver and of copper. With such a vivid description that Nephi leaves us about the landing site and what was found there, one might expect to see every model of the land of promise having such a landing site, but none do other than Andean South America. At the 30th degree South Latitude, where a ship heading up the Chilean coast could have set in, there are the 5 descriptions Nephi mentioned. First, immediate living conditions where tents could be pitched and a large community settle, including fresh water. Second, an immediate area of good soils to till, plant, and harvest a productive crop. Third, a climate where seeds brought from Jerusalem would have grown exceedingly in 600 BC. Fourth, a large forest where both domestic and wild animals could coexist. And fifth, easily observed and obtainable ore of gold, silver, and copper. These 5 descriptions in a single landing site are important to find if one is going to locate where Lehi landed and his people came ashore and settled. And a single location has all 5, and that is found at 30 degrees South Latitude along the Chilean coast in an area called Coquimbo Bay and La Serena. Not only is it the only place in the Western Hemisphere that has a Mediterranean climate other than California, but also a large forest, animals, ores of gold, silver, and copper, and an area for settlement right where they landed. So is this where Lehi landed? One might conclude that it is.
What? Hey, like and subscribe to Grandpa's video right now. You know the bushes right here. Woohoo! Okay. Yeah. Come on, you need to push that button.